Shifting gears a little bit, during the pandemic, park use escalated massively. I happen to be fortunate enough to live on the now buried Garrison Creek and along those parkways. And the value of these green spaces is being clearly paramount for both physical and mental health. Will your party invest in maintenance and improvements to these park spaces? And I'll add a question in. What would you prioritize?
The challenge with green spaces is, again, it's not my problem, it's their problem. Parks in York Southwestern are run by Parks and Recreation, which is a municipal facility, and the Humber River is sort of under the purview of the province, and then we have it all running down to Lake Ontario, which is the purview of the federal government. And again, I don't wish to harp on, but as someone with many decades of experience in getting things done, you can't do these things on an isolated basis. And you can't do it if the party you're with is involved in name calling, which the federal government has been very good about, but the provincial government not so much. I think if that's a kind way to put it. You can't get involved, you can't do these things in confrontation. You have to do them in collaboration. And not only are the parks in York South Western under threat, they're frequently underwater. And I think one of the first things we can do, as I can do as your MP, is make sure that they spend a little less time underwater so that people don't have to go scuba diving in order to enjoy the park. I mean, I'm being lighthearted here, but it calls for some dark humor here. The second thing that we can do there are two things that you can do as a federal MP. One is legislative, and the other is the power of office, which has already been talked about, where you can bring people to the table, people of good heart, and maybe from different parties, to effect change. One of the things I would love to see, and I want to see for York Southwestern, is to green it as much as we can. We need friends of Smythe Park. We need friends of all the park. And as your federal MP, my goodness, I'll help grow that at the risk of being too agrarian in my imagery. This needs to be grown and supported. This feeds into a shift in thinking in York Southwestern, a shift to a new pride of living here, seeing, as you can see from this one photograph, the immense beauty that is hidden and not showcased between the other areas of desperate poverty and desperate ugliness. We've got to lift ourselves up. Nobody else is going to help us do that. So it's a complex answer, but I have to say that it can be done if we get each level of government involved. The federal government, historically in this area, has done nothing. All of the activity has been driven by the municipality and then subsequently funded by the federal government. And tapping into those funds is something that a smart MP can do for York Southwestern.